Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Happy Thursday. How
Happy
you doing?
Thursday. I'm doing fine. It is August 6, 2026, and I personally hope that you're having a fantastic start to your morning wherever you are. You know, I oftentimes, actually on a daily basis, I meet people on assignments, I meet people in the grocery store, I meet people at the gas station, and people often tell me that whenever they're getting ready for work, they turn on Open Your Eyes and they listen in. Some people watch. Some people have the phone or the device on the side and they're just listening and locked in to the conversations we have and the discussions we hold with our guests. And so I want to say a special good morning to those folks that make Open Your Eyes a daily part of your morning routine. We love you, man. We love you bad. And we appreciate you for making Open Your Eyes your morning show of choice. But it's August 6, 2026. It's
and
Thursday.
It is. And some of those folks that you just mentioned, they are already trickling in online on our Facebook page. I see Samson Jacobs jumping online saying good morning. I see Manny Gio hopping on saying buenos dias as well. Francisco Madrid. And I really want to remember our YouTube viewers as well. They oftentimes hop online and they share their comments as well. The only thing I want to ask you guys to please forgive me. I can't call out your handles because it's not like Facebook. It's not like actual names. It's like something numbers beside
That's
it.
on YouTube, right?
Yeah. And so it kind of takes away the fun. It doesn't feel as personal.
People try to be covert by YouTube, you know. Hot red sauce 2876. Calm down.
But you know, Paul, I, for some reason, feel a little bit tired this morning. I gonna sleep probably like 15 minutes, like
before
outside
midnight?
of my, outside of my usual time. This is how you know they get old. 15 minutes too late,
Yeah,
friend.
stop it.
I need a joke.
You name reach 30 yet.
I know even the joke, Paul. I woke up this morning
old.
like, it's time already. Just like 15 minutes later than my normal time. Anyways, I'm here. I have my cup of coffee in.
Yes, you do.
And we have a wonderful show lined up. I think this morning promises to be engaging. Also, of course, we always encourage you guys to share your thoughts as well on the topics that we have discussed for our 5 things and also our couch conversations. And speaking of couch conversations, let's jump into that.
Yeah, excellent.
So we're going to start things off with social and behavior change, a pathway to healthier communities with Dr. Everold N. Hosein. Also, we'll be jumping into that liquor licensing reform conversation, Paul. Modernizing liquor licensing to strengthen governance, compliance, and public safety. So we'll be touching on that. And then the Women's Commission leading a campaign and solidarity march for sexual assault survivors. And then closing things off with some beauty, advocacy, and sustainability. We'll be joined by delegates of the Miss Earth Belize pageant set to take place.
Excellent, Sabrina. So thanks for highlighting exactly the conversations we'll be having this morning. And aside from that, of course, we here on Open Your Eyes, we discuss the trending and headline topics in the first part of our morning show. It's the 5 things that you need to know before you leave your home this morning. And here we have first on the list, Cabinet Minister Julius Espat continues to oppose proposed BTL SpeedNet merger. Secondly, we spoke with Church Senator Louis Wade yesterday about his decision to not participate in, it was Tuesday's Senate walkout. I'm going to be discussing that a little bit. They go hand in hand. And then thirdly, BCCI weighs in on the split payments and the ongoing Ministry of Defense scandal. And they have some very interesting perspectives on the overall issue here. And so we'll be looking at some of their contributions to this public discussion and debate. And fourthly, the president of FIFA has issued an apology. The man says sorry after his proposed FIFA enterprise plan received a lot of rejections and negative pushback or pushback at that. And then last but certainly not least, KTV, the remix season 8 is still on, and every morning we try beat the Tina on the head that the judges have their say, but you all have your way, and so you have to vote for your favorite contestants.
Yeah. All right, Paul, well, let's jump into it. I know yesterday, me and Isani, we took a deep dive into the topic of the BTL SpeedNet acquisition that took place. I know that the board meeting was held 2 days ago, and so we subsequently spoke about it yesterday. And so we've been trying to look at several different angles. I know that we also had an extensive interview with the BCCI as well. But I think what's interesting is there are people who want to know what the positions are of certain ministers, of certain politicians, especially of the Bersenio administration, since this acquisition is taking place under the Bersenio administration. And interestingly, we have gotten some of those politicians saying that they don't necessarily support it. Not outrightly saying that, but saying things like, you know, the people need to be consulted. In other cases, I believe there's been an interview on, or a soundbite on record of Minister Cordell Hyde saying that the people needed to be consulted. And so this being shelved, if it comes to that, then, you know, that would be the right thing. And so one of the more recent interviews that we got was that of Mr. Julius Espat. We also spoke to Minister Francis Fonseca, who declined to comment on the matter until it was properly ventilated. But interestingly, what came out was the comment from Minister Espat saying that BTL is owned by the people and so they should be consulted.
Yeah, and so when you look at Minister Julius Espat's position, you think about what he means by consultation, and you begin to think about the whole idea of consultation in terms of this proposed acquisition, right? And you listen to Minister Julius Espat, you listen to the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, you listen to the NTUCB, you listen to the opposition, and it's a common theme, right? That a huge part of their concern is the absence of consultation.
Yeah.
And so what do they mean when they say properly consulted or there was no consultation? Well, this is a recurrent issue in governance that we see here in Belize, where the unions, for example, are saying that, yes, we contributed to the discussion, we raised certain concerns, but even in that process of them listening to us, we feel as if we were not heard, right? We feel as if our concerns were not truly taken into consideration. And so I think when Minister Espat speaks of consultations, and when the union and the opposition speaks of consultations, they define it as a two-way street, right? It's not only you opening the door for us to voice our opinions, or voice our concerns, and to voice our thoughts and opinions, it's also about us feeling as if we were heard, right? So us feeling like this door was open for productive discussion, and productive discussion in that it will produce and yield certain results that are favorable not only for you on that side, but favorable for us and the people that we represent. And so this is a part of the issue that I see taking place here, just based on the discussions I've had the privilege to have with all these individuals and all these bodies. And so that's one of the issues. Listen, I don't take lightly the proposed benefits of this proposed merger, right? As outlined by DJ in their press release, BTL and DJ in their press release. They say the proposed acquisition, this is the purchase of SpeedNet's entire shares, right? 100% of it. The proposed acquisition is expected to deliver several important benefits to Belize, such as expanded rural connectivity, an issue we've been facing for a long time. Improved service reliability, we'll get better service. Greater efficiency and sustainable value, consumer protection, employment and skills development, as well as stronger stakeholder returns. So I don't take for granted the proposed benefits or the benefits that they allude to for all Belizeans. And I think there is a time and a place for those benefits to, those proposed or identified benefits to really be looked at. And for us to really have a discussion as a society whether or not this is what we want, this is what we need, this is the direction we should head in telecommunications. But all of those proposed benefits that are currently on the table are being overclouded or overshadowed by questions about the value, the true value of the product that is being purchased. Because when you hear from the chambers, for example, who says we're putting the cart before the horse, when you hear from the NTUCB who says that they don't know the true value of SpeedNet and its assets and the entire shares, when you hear from the Belize Communication Workers Union asking, as other unions are, including the opposition, for an independent valuation, then you know that there's questions about the true value of this product that we're seeking to purchase. And so I think that is where BTL and the GIS messaging is falling flat, right? Because while it may be true that these benefits do exist and that they can come to fruition, with questions about the true value looming, I think until that is fully addressed, based on what I hear from the unions and the oppositions and everybody opposing it, until that is truly addressed in an adequate and an acceptable manner to these bodies, then there'll continue to be opposition. And they believe that the only way to truly address this is to have an independent valuation, and a valuation outside of the more valuation that BTL and the G is relying on right now. And so so I think that's what's happening here. There's a clash between messaging where this acquisition is concerned.
We can't forget to mention where the regulator is at this time in the conversation, the PUC. I know that yesterday the Public Utilities Commission issued a press release and essentially just speaking to what has been taking place for the past 2 days or 3 days. There's been questions and concerns from people feeling as though the PUC would not provide the necessary protection that is needed if a monopoly would actually take place, which is inevitable if SpeedNet is purchased. And so they put out a statement, and I'm not sure if we're able to show that on screen at this time, essentially just saying that they are aware and they appreciate the public's interest and patience as it carries out its statutory responsibility and is obligated to remain impartial through this process. Accordingly, the Commission is unable to comment on the public discussion on the proposed transaction or indicate a likely outcome before completing its review. The decision will constitute the PUC's official position on this matter.
What does that mean to you?
Nothing really. And that's what I wanted to tell you. I felt like it didn't really ease my concerns or my frustrations when reading this release. It kind of just saying, for me, it kind of just said that, hey, we're aware of what's happening. We appreciate the concern coming out. And we want to, ask that you guys have patience with us on the matter.
Yeah, 100%. I hear your point. I think at the end of the day, the BCCI and the unions and the opposition, they have two opposing views on the role of the PUC, or at least the trust in which they instill in the Public Utilities Commission, right? And so what the BCCI is saying essentially, where the PUC's involvement is concerned, is that we'll have to wait for them to essentially do their review and see what comes out of that. The BCCI didn't outrightly say we don't trust them. But you hear from the NTUCB and you hear from the opposition, and they're the ones saying that essentially the PUC is a politically appointed body and that they tend to have, this is what they're saying, that they have a more inclination to lean towards supporting whatever move the government of the day is approving or is proposing. And so we'll have to see really and truly what the PUC's, my position is, we have to see what the PUC's response is on this. And I think that could create a clearer path on how to move forward on this issue.
So we saw different responses from different bodies when the board gathered and made their decision. We know that there were demonstrations at the headquarters here in Belize City, and there was even protests or a show of a lack of support with this process, even at the Senate. And so there were persons from the opposition who walked out. There was also persons from the independent bodies who also walked out, minus one person, though. And we were able to speak to Senator Lewis Wade on the matter yesterday, asking him why he decided to sit in and continue with the process. He mentioned that he was interested in voting on the USH bill. But what were your thoughts on that, on him sitting and not essentially showing solidarity and walking out?
Well, it's a two-edged sword, in my view, because on one hand, you are appointed as a senator to represent your constituents, as they put it. In his case, he represents the NIAB and he represents the Council of Churches. And his argument is that if he walks out, he's doing a disservice to his constituents, because he is guided by his constituents, and his constituents tell him that you're supposed to stay and you're supposed to share our thoughts and our opinions and our suggestions and our positions on all the matters that are before the Senate, including the USH bill. And so he said that he did it earlier this week. He stayed, and if there ever is a walkout in the future, that he will continue to stay because his constituents appointed him to debate and discuss the matters that are before the Senate, right? And so he used the USH bill as an example, that it's been a long time in coming, and finally it's here in the Senate. And so now that it's finally here, he didn't see it as prudent or the best strategy to leave when there's finally an opportunity to vote on the Hush bill. But that was knocked down by the president of the BCCI, Mr. Sanchez, who supported his senator's decision to walk out, saying that in weighing the importance of the matter at hand, which is the proposed acquisition and the uproar with the Hush bill, he believed that at the time, in this current season, the proposed acquisition and all the uproar surrounding it takes priority. Is of a bit more importance than the Hush bill, because the Hush bill has been 17 years in coming, and it can wait a bit longer, and they can still see good legislation come out of the Hush, right? My thing is, when it passes through the Senate, the next step is for it to be signed off into law by the Governor General. And so you find yourself in a difficult situation, because really, where do you debate legislation, right? Where do you truly put your input? And where do you truly make recommendations so that those changes and so that good legislation is passed? Really, you do it inside the National Assembly. You do it inside the Senate, in this case, the upper house, so that your contributions and your thoughts, the thoughts of your constituents, can truly be registered, so that when it passes through the Senate and it goes to the Governor General for signing, then you can say, I have made the contributions and I've also registered my vote on exactly what is before them. So I think what Mr. Sanchez is suggesting is that there are opportunities outside of the Senate debate that exist for further amendments to be had, further input to be gathered, and for there to be a well-rounded legislation. At the same time, I also think that this is where the debate's supposed to happen, right? This is where the contributions are supposed to be made. And that's why I say it's a two-edged sword. Like, people will support you for walking out, but at the end of the day, you have a duty and a responsibility to your constituents to see to it that whatever is passed through the Senate, that it reflects exactly your position.
I kind of agree more with Mr. Sanchez's side. I understand your point of the need to be present in the National Assembly to give your contribution as senators, but I think of moments where, you know, you have such strong views on a topic, and you feel like you're kind of just going through a process of saying, I don't support this, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, it still passes through. In cases of what took place on Monday when these senators walked out, I think we need to see more examples of that, where people say, enough, enough, I will walk out and show how much I'm dissatisfied. And I believe that this was also, for the lack of a better word, supported or understood by the Minister of Education, Francis Fonseca. He said that that's democracy at play. And so I think that there are different levels to it, and I'm hoping that we could measure some of the importance of some of these topics and some of these matters that need to be addressed. Senator Wade expressed that he's also the owner of a media company, and so this stands to also affect him, he believes. So I imagine that he would also walk out. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit disappointed, but that's my personal view on that matter.
I hear you on that. Listen, I feel
like Belizeans are still passive.
I won't for a moment discredit the walkout, because as you rightly said, this is strong conviction in action.
As long as it's not violent.
Right, as long as it is not violent, and we saw that on full display here. At the same time, one person's decision to not walk out also carries justifiable rationale, in my view.
Yeah, All right. Well, it's a tricky position to be in, I think, for Mr. Wade.
I don't call me a weird apologist because I know they apologize to the man. I just did dissect.
Yeah.
I just did dissect his rationale and really give thought to it.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. It's so weird to try to dissect this because you really want to see from both sides their justification of why they did what they did. And I get what Mr. Wade was saying, what Senator Wade said. However, I'm just looking at the weight of the situation that we are in right now. The board had already approved the acquisition of SpeedNet. And so this seems like it's going to be a process that's a done deal. And I believe Mr. Sanchez, CEO Sanchez, even confirmed that.
Yeah, well, the way he puts it, and this is my issue. This is a huge part of the battle, internal battle I have with this acquisition, right? A huge part of my internal battle is that everybody is saying it's a done deal, right? Oh, BTL, the board votes 8-2, so it's a done deal. And I keep asking, well, what about the PUC? They have the final say. According to the law, these sort of sales and things can't happen without the PUC. So how is it a done deal when the PUC have to have its say? And so what the president of BCCI said yesterday was really eye-opening to me, was jaw-dropping in a sense, right? Because he says he's in the know, and he says that he believes that there are legal maneuvers that can be employed in this case to sort of, and I don't want to misquote him, but to paraphrase, to sort of sidestep the PUC, to sort of ensure that that BTL's board has its way and that the players behind the scene have their way. And that was really eye-opening to me because by law, you really have to go through the PUC. And so I, perhaps out of ignorance, don't fully see it as a done deal simply because the law makes provisions for the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, to have the final say on this. And as far as I'm concerned, they're analyzing the proposal and they will make their determination. Whether or not you think that they're more going to sway towards the government and the ruling party of the day, well, that's another discussion. But at the end of the day, I don't think the finality is truly there until the PUC has its say. And if there's legal maneuvering, then how is that not illegal? Right?
Yeah.
How is it not illegal to even begin to think about sidestepping the PUC? I don't know.
I don't think that's the case. I feel like
There's suggestions that it can be done. I think with enough really good liars, anything could happen. Who knows?
well, Paul, you're not making me feel any more hopeful.
Yeah, well, that's the conversation
Yeah.
that was had yesterday with BCCI.
Well, we also spoke to them about other topics as well. I know that the matter involving the leaked Smart Stream invoices was also a topic of discussion. And I think it was an interesting point to include BCCI, which we know is a body that represents the private sector, businesses, and they shared their thoughts on these leaks and matters of the government's Smart Stream. We also heard from a councillor, a member, William Neal, talking about how that process would work in other organizations as well, like the United Nations even. But there was a comment that really struck me, Paul, in the interview that was given. I believe it was CEO Sanchez who essentially said that this would never fly with private companies. And I think that that's the part that Belizeans need to really hone in on. What we are glossing over as something that's just an issue in the system that they're going to fix, we are refraining from looking at the fact that there was abuse of a system that took place, and that could never be allowed in other businesses.
Right.
And I think that would force us to hold people accountable. Quite an interesting interview.
Yeah, so what the BCCI did, just to quickly go over this, yesterday the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and this is where all of these comments came out of, they held a media roundtable where they sat down with representatives from the media to discuss their good governance agenda and to also discuss their proposals to fix these procurement issues that have been making headlines for months. And what I got from the BCCI is that their position suggests or is that it's more than just looking at the split payments.
Yeah.
It's more than just looking at the below $10,000 threshold, that the issue is really systemic, right? And that to make changes, you have to be intentional about changing the culture that operates within the government of the day and within government in general, right? So there needs to be greater transparency, and that needs to become a part of government operation, and there needs to be stronger oversight, and that needs to be a part of government's culture, right? Which they say is not the case today, and I fully agree. We've been doing stories showing that transparency is at an all-time low and has been for some time.
And I imagine the audit will show that it's pre this administration as well.
And oversight bodies are poorly funded and poorly resourced. And so they're bringing these up as issues to say there needs to be a different approach to policy. Policies needs to change. And so they've made multiple suggestions, and we went through a lot of those yesterday in our media round table. And so I know they also wrote to the Prime Minister outlining these suggestions as well. That letter was sent on June 26th, and BCCI is yet to receive a response. Does that say something about the government's or the Brazilian administration's political will to truly make these changes? Perhaps it does. It's been over a month, and the Prime Minister's office has yet to respond to BCCI's letter to them outlining all these proposals. But I agree with the Belize Chamber of Commerce when they say it's more than just the specific cases we're looking at and the dissecting of what really went wrong. It's about seeing how we could move forward in a more transparent and accountable manner. They made a revelation to show that since 2013, the Auditor General's office has been flagging split payments. So it's not just a PUP issue.
Yeah,
it's a UDP and PUP issue. It's a PUDP issue. It's an issue with the system. And for far too long, nobody has been held truly accountable. And I think until they hold somebody accountable, then everybody has started scrambling and say, all right, make we fix this.
Yeah, make I get myself together.
Make we get this thing together and see, so nobody else find themselves in a position where either they get bungled or they get publicly shamed in a sense because of their actions in it.
All right. Well, we do have to quickly move into our final topic. Let's just go into our final topic because it is already winding down on time. I know that we are looking forward to I'm looking forward to next week's KTV, the remix theme or genre that is, and that's alternative rock, Paul, and it's judges' choice. And so they chose the genre of alternative rock. I'll tell you, right? I think that's probably the genre that's going to challenge our contestants the most. Well, I thought Latino music might have done that because it's a different language, but I know that alternative rock is one of those genres where it's very like niche, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people vibe with it. I'll tell you, there are two genres I look forward to whenever KTV comes around. R&B, because I love some R&B music, and I love alternative rock. So you might see me there next week as well. I'm excited to see what they do. I want to hear some Linkin Park, maybe some softer sounds like Ali Cole play. I want to see what the contestants will do. You know, I want to see how they're going to get out of their comfort zones with that.
I don't know much alternative rock, you know.
That's fine.
Shamefully.
I in high school, I was in my emo era, right?
Yeah.
So I know quite a few bands and songs, and
so I have to update my listening ear to kind of get up to date with what
expand your
what
taste.
can be expected. But yeah, I certainly look forward to see some of the contestants really put it out there, put it all on the line. As much as I didn't understand most of what was sung on Tuesday night, I thoroughly enjoyed those performances. I feel like Spanish singing, Latin music is the strong point of all those contestants.
Yeah,
and most of them.
They really, really did well this week. And as I mentioned, I didn't expect that because it's like a foreign language for majority of them. But they performed exceptionally well. I believe last this Tuesday that passed was also the first night that we saw the most tens as well. So quite interesting. I want to see if they're going to follow that up though with alternative night.
At least then they go back to English because I really made it struggle, but I enjoyed it.
All right, cool. Well, we do have to wrap things up now and go to our first break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our conversation we're going to be jumping into is liquor licensing reform, modernizing liquor licensing to strengthen governance, compliance, and public safety.
Stay connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
When a child is asked to marry or live like an adult in an intimate relationship before turning 18, this is called child marriage or early union. Belize law states that no one under the age of 18 can get married. Even with the alleged consent of parents, it is illegal.
To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're jumping into our first conversation, and as I mentioned before the break, this one I think might interest a lot of people. We were having discussions around the Liquor Licensing Act and just really the culture of consumption of liquor here in Belize. And so this is another opportunity to contribute to that conversation. We are joined by the Director of Local Government, Clifford King, and he's here to talk about liquor licensing reform. Good morning, Mr. King. How you doing?
Good morning and thanks. Just waking up, but
yes, all the way from Belmopan.
Yeah, but very good to go.
Yeah.
And very glad to be here. Thanks for the invite, and we're looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, a lot of people are interested. A lot of curiosity, a lot of concerns.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Yeah.
So then let's start by talking a bit about what triggered consultations.
All right. So it's been a long road in the making. The issues concerning the sale and consumption of liquor has been a long-standing social issue with a lot of economic implications, environmental implications. The first ordinance regarding liquor licensing in Belize goes back to over 100 years. There's been some limited amendment to legislation over the years to the Substantive Act, which is Chapter 150 of the Laws of Belize, but there have never been a comprehensive review of the legislation. There have been spot changes, and the last significant change was in 2022 when the law was amended, and you all remember, to allow for the sale and consumption of liquor on Good Fridays and Christmas, and sort of like opening the whole element of how liquor was sold and consumed on those specific public and bank holidays. So our Ministry of Rural Transformation, has the mandate to for legislation such as liquor licensing, trade licensing, property tax, of course the Town and City Councils Act. And so it's part of our mandate to look at these existing legal and regulatory framework and see where there are weaknesses, where there are challenges.
Yeah. What are some of those weaknesses that you guys identified?
In terms of liquor, there's been a huge slew of issues relating from license categories to enforcement issues or lack of enforcement, voluntary compliance, the work of supporting agencies, the police, the fire department, the public health department, the Department of Environment. There's a lot of governance, administration, how the boards are appointed, who are board members, who gets what kind of license, so there's a slew of issues.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue has been the concerns of relating to lack of compliance from license holders, the social issues that we're having, and then of course significant issues with lack of enforcement. And as we've been going around the country, talking to stakeholders, whether the private sector, the business community, and then of course the general public, these are the resounding themes that keep popping up. And how do we really create a legislative framework where you allow for the economy to grow, you allow for businesses to expand and to get their profits, but how do you align that with social cohesion, social responsibility, environmental stewardness, especially when it comes to noise pollution?
Yeah.
It's been a significant issue with noise pollution.
There are layers of issues, and we've discussed multiple of them, and I'm sure between Sabrina and I will bring up some of them this morning. One for me being the health component, right? And the overconsumption of alcohol that we see time and time again, the use of the excessive use of these little bad man, these bottles, and what it really does to public health, the deterioration of our health, the amount of men that are out there abusing alcohol, and as a result just losing their productivity in society, meaning in their life as well. What does the Act currently say or include where public health considerations is concerned?
So if you allow me to, we'll take one step back just to kind of set the context of how we got to where we are now. So as part of our ministry's strategic plan and objective, legislative reform is one of them. So last year we got cabinet's approval to undergo this exercise. So we're not doing this in isolation as a ministry. This is a government-led initiative because we have recognized where the weaknesses, where the challenges have been. The law speaks to provisions relating to how you sell alcohol and how you consume alcohol. Historically, we have seen a significant digression in the way our society behaves from a social context standpoint, but also from just a responsibility standpoint. The law in its current form is very strong in terms of a lot of those things that you just mentioned. I could tell you right now, the law speaks about not selling alcohol to people who are already intoxicated.
Okay.
If somebody drunk, you're not supposed to sell
them more.
If the man drunk, you're done. But many times our social experience tells us the man drunk at the bar and with the alpha more liquor, buy one more. The law tells you things like you are not to sell alcohol on credit. You don't credit alcohol. You don't use your paycheck to pay for alcohol.
Really?
Yeah, those things are there. Of course, the one that we always know very well is that you don't sell to minors.
Yes.
And so you see that prominently displayed in the establishment. But very little compliance when it comes to those other critical issues because indeed, because of the nature of alcohol as a drug, it has direct relationship with a lot of other social issues, road traffic accident, domestic violence, the whole prevalence of poverty, abuse in the household, sexual offenses, labor offenses. And while the law doesn't speak to those specific things, we know the correlation between those things and the sale and consumption of alcohol. So as a government, as a people, we have to look at how do we create better provisions to allow for cross-agency engagement in these matters while at the same time allowing businesses to grow, but we are socially cohesive, we work with each other. But we can't leave it to chance. We can't just say, I will rely on license holders to be compliant. We have to put legislation and regulations to hold them compliant.
Before we move
and I'll give you some example, but of course, I want you guys to lead.
Before we move forward, and I know we'll bring up more concerns, but who enforces?
There are different provisions for enforcement. And just let's talk about a quick few. In the legislation right now, the law makes reference specifically in terms of compliance. License holders have a huge obligation to comply with the law. So when you get a liquor license, which is a privilege to sell alcohol, you have to, for example, make sure you're not selling to minors. You have to make sure that the products that you are selling, that they have, that they are part of the customs, that they have broken into the country and it's not illegal. So a lot of the responsibility of the license holder, and then in terms of enforcement, is the police. But then you have other agencies like public health. Public health have to make sure that your place is sanitary. If you have a restaurant, that you have food handlers, your health premise certificate. Fire has to make sure you have exits, you have fire extinguishers, those kinds of things. But when you look at some of the issues, how do we police things like capacity? How do we police to know that in this room can only hold 100 persons, but you say a party going on and there are 200 persons in there? Who enforces that? Who monitors that?
How do you police the police that polices the venue? In terms of security that is being paid separately. My payment is at risk if I even say something, right? And then to me, to rely on, as the law stands, to rely on the establishment to comply is like me telling my 2-year-old not to touch the cookie, and then I leave the room. By the time I come back, the cookie is in her mouth because there's nobody there to really enforce.
That's an issue that has been repeated resoundingly. Why are police officers working in licensed establishments? when we know that you see the offenses happening and who is at the door, a police officer. The law speaks about bona fide security. There isn't a really clear definition about what that means though, so we have to fix that. And then of course we have to look at how we legally address the issue of allowing, I know that I think the former commissioner had made a policy position that police officers will not work at XYZ establishments. Public appearance will tell you that has probably gone through the window.
Easily.
Because you almost everywhere you go, you see the police officers.
And they
working.
have expressed the need almost to do that as side jobs because of
XYZ,
needing higher
yeah.
salary and whatnot. But I want to take the conversation in a different direction. I know that Paul spoke about the health factors of abusing alcohol. There are people in the comment section who have also linked it to traffic accidents.
Yeah.
And that is also a matter that I think we try to touch on as frequently as possible, especially because the facts are there. The data is there. The traffic accidents are hard to ignore. We report on it every day in our newscasts. But you also mentioned one of the topics earlier, Mr. King, you spoke about noise pollution. And oftentimes that the very same establishments selling these liquors are the ones that are hosting these people. They are the ones, the local corner store that have these intoxicated persons there socializing and they're continuing the sale of alcohol to them. They're also the social establishments on the entertainment strip that also have these persons consuming alcohol, staying there, and it also adds with the music that's being played, and it creates an even bigger problem where I imagine persons would have voiced those concerns at the consultations. How is that being considered in the Act?
Well, we are taking a lot of recommendations, suggestions, ideas that are coming into the fore based on the consultations relating to the cost to get a license. So it differs from urban to rural. They are very minimal in a lot of instances. For example, a beer license to get a beer, to sell beer, $500 for the year, $250 in the rural area. You can make that in just a sweep on one weekend.
Correct. Yeah, one man.
We are allowing that. There's this perception that if I open a store, a supermarket, automatically it comes with a liquor license, which is not necessarily needed. When we look at our municipalities and our rural spaces, we could clearly define and know how many types of establishment of what kind we have in every area. And that may not necessarily be the way we need our society to be developed and grown, where liquor is sold in every establishment. The issue of, as you walk into a store, the first thing you see behind the cashier is the stock of liquor. Is that what we want for our society? A huge controversial issue came up about whether we should be have bartenders in certain establishments be certified and licensed to be as tour guides are. There are implications in terms of the cost to do business if you're going to require that. But you also have to look at how do you then create a regulatory framework to ensure that there's an ethical responsibility assigned to people who are serving liquor. So all of those things we have to address. We have this issue now where entrepreneurs are getting creative and innovative. Mobile bars, party bars, party buses, people drinks on wheels.
Which promotes public drinking.
Which promotes public drinking, but it's a modern time, doesn't mean that you can't have it. It's how you regulate it. But there's no provision in the law for it.
What about what Sabrina raised about noise pollution? Is there currently any provision in the law for that?
So there's something called the soundproofing regulations that limit, but here's the catch. In the daytime, the allowable decibels is 80 decibels. Now, I am speaking to you above 80 decibels.
Yeah, I have my decibel
We
reader
are
with
having
me
a
all the time.
conversation above 80 decibels right now.
I'm pretty sure people would say that
And then at night,
my whispering is above 80 decibels.
And then at nighttime, it's 45.
Oh, wow.
It's not practical.
Yeah.
So how do we create an environment where you could allow for entertainment in a responsible way and still be mindful that there are people who have to go to sleep? The issue of productivity, we can't party all night. There are jurisdictions across, like
You can, but
yeah, you can.
shouldn't.
But you have to wake up in the morning to work.
So where do we go from here, Mr. King?
I wanted to mention earlier, we have a technical working group that we had put together that include various stakeholders, the municipalities, the business community, the Association of Village Council, our ministry. And this technical working group now has the arduous task of taking this huge amount of recommendations have been made, sanitize it, justify it, rationalize it, and then we present that to cabinet to say, listen, these are the things that people are saying we need to do to fix this law. And then, of course, coming out of those instructions, we go back to public and say, we'd like to validate these recommendations before we go to the legislative drafting. We anticipate that, of course, I've been working in this field in local governance for a number of years. I could tell you for trade licensing, we have got into a new trade licensing legislation. It took almost 10 years. We did municipal boundaries last year. It took almost 12 years to get that done.
When have we started this process, just so I can be certain I'll be alive?
We started last year, in about October of last year, putting together the working group and putting the methodology and getting all the consultation processes in place. So we have just completed that like a week ago, and so now we're in the process of assimilating the data, sanitizing it, rationalizing it, structuring it, and then the working group now will have the task of looking at all of that and seeing what are the concrete recommendations. Some of the recommendations that have been made are regulatory. Some can be for the legislative framing, and then the regulations will speak to how some of those things will manifest themselves.
Can there likely be immediate amendments, like some changes through just amendments?
And indeed, well, we have done piecemeal approaches. We want to do a very comprehensive,
I understand.
Comprehensive review. One of the areas that we have not touched is the issue of penalties. Penalties are, the penalties that are currently in the law are very weak. I'll give you an example of one, public drinking. $25 is the penalty. So the police will tell you, why am I going to invest $500 of resources in prosecuting public drinking when I go to a magistrate, the magistrate will slap a $25 fine on
That's like 2 drinks.
So we have to look at what we put in place to mitigate, to hold license holders accountable. For example, you have a lot of the kind of stores that create one enabling environment for people to drink right there. We have to do something about that.
Because you get more sale.
So they're operating like a bar.
Yeah.
And they're actually stores. So we have all of these issues that we have to massage our way through.
And Mr. King, unfortunately, we are out of time, but we appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you and get a better understanding of the work that the work that's being done from the local government standpoint. If there are any questions or further contributions that people would like to give, I know the consultations in certain areas has already been done, but can people reach out?
Sure. Actually, we have a slide. If your technicians could, there's a slide with the contact information and the email addresses for our officers, including myself, and we do welcome. It's the last slide that have our email addresses. The public should feel free. If you go to the last slide, I think you can see the addresses.
All right.
But we appreciate this opportunity to continue to have this public discourse. Incidentally, we have not been getting we didn't get the kind of turnout we wanted at the public forum. But for the few people that were there, the issues have been validated. They are being repeated across the country. So I think we're in a good place, and now it's just to get us to the legislative framework now. That we need,
Well, thank you very much for your time. We are going to take a quick break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, our next conversation is social and behavior change, a pathway to healthier communities with Dr. Everold and Hosein.
Introducing BB Insurance. Built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, home and property insurance does not only cover hurricane and fire? Your lifetime investment will also be protected from explosions, water damage, malicious damage, and more. So you can rest easy knowing your home is protected. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world. Mexican Caribbean, the vacation capital.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Every business starts with a vision. And everyday Belizean entrepreneurs are turning that vision into reality.
Hi, I'm Rosalie, General Manager of Cards and Merchant Services at the Belize Bank. Today, I am proud to introduce our new solution designed specifically for Belize's small and medium-sized businesses.
Introducing the Belize Bank Advantage MasterCard SME Business Credit Card. Whether you're managing everyday expenses, purchasing inventory, or investing in growth, this card gives your business the flexibility to move forward with confidence. Applying is easy. Visit any Belize Bank branch and speak with one of our SME officers. We'll help you find a solution that best fits your business. Your business is building Belize's future. Let Belize Bank help power what's next.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Her full
Welcome back. We are jumping into our next conversation, and it's all about social and behavioral change, a pathway to healthier communities with Dr. Everold Hosein. He is the president of the Combi Institute and a senior communication advisor. He's also joined by Shane Blackett. He is a participant of the event. Now, I understand that this is a course, actually, and it began on Monday. It's a few days in total, and so we're going to dive into that topic this morning, and hopefully, if there's still any opportunities for people to take part, maybe we can also touch on that as well. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Hey, morning, guys.
Yes. So let's talk about Combi, Communication for Behavioral Impact, what the training is and why we find ourselves here at this point, an invitation for people to understand the impact and importance of this.
Okay. So the course takes, we conduct a training at City University of New York, which is 10 days, 2 weeks. Before it was a 3-week course. And now we're doing 8-day versions at in different countries. So what I'd like to do is, like in 30 seconds, turn an 8-day course into a chat with you.
Yes.
Let's see if we can do that.
We can give you more than 30 seconds.
I know. But in answer to your question, what I've been working on in this area for many, many years. How do you use communication to get people to behave, if you want to put it crudely? And there's a big difference between using communication to get people to behave compared to using communication to inform and educate people. So one example of that is I could inform you and educate you about the Nike shoe and about the Nike swoosh, the logo. But Mr. Philip Knight, who founded Nike, would say, well, I know that this is the most popular logo in the world, but I really don't care about that. What I care about is how many people are walking into a store
and buying it
and putting down the money and buying a pair of Nike shoes. So thank you for making my logo well known. In health education and public health communication, we find that ministries of health are excellent at informing and educating people. So I know both of you know that you should exercise 5 days a week, half an hour every day. And I have a feeling neither of you do it. No, I'm joking.
We tend to
We do.
So there are people who know what to do and then do it. But in the training we're doing here at the University of the West Indies and nicely funded in part by the Pan American Health Organization, I'd asked all the participants, most of them from the Ministry of Health, except Pastor Shane, and I said, so how many of you know about this particular behavior, the WHO recommendation, 5 days a week, half an hour every day? Every hand goes up. And these are people in the Ministry of Health. And I said, so how many of you do it? A lot of hands go down. They don't. So it's one thing to know, another thing to do. And Combi, Communication for Behavioral Impact, focuses on the doing. So we know how to inform you and educate you, and that's lovely that you're informed and educated, but do you do it? So give a simple, like, put less salt when you're cooking your corned beef. I've been in countries where the corned beef already has a ton of salt, and they add more salt to that. They know they shouldn't put that much salt. They know it will lead to a stroke, high blood pressure, and so forth. But the fact that you know doesn't mean that you do. So we've come up with a methodology at the World Health Organization, at New York University, to get people to go from knowing to doing.
That's so interesting. I think of so many different sectors that could benefit from this. Communications departments, people working in marketing, people putting out campaigns from ministries. It's one thing to let people know that something is happening, and it's another for them to actually retain the information and want to follow. I almost feel like there's a level of psychology involved in that too.
There's a high level of psychology, there's a high level of social psychology, a lot of social sciences, anthropology, even political science.
I could see that.
And so I make a bad joke, and I'll make the bad joke now. Ministers in government, and not just Belize, but everywhere else, they know how to use Combi to get people to vote for them. But once they get into their ministerial positions, they forget how to use communication to get people to behave. But when it comes to vote for me, they are masters at that. But when it comes to put less sugar in your morning coffee, they say, no, we'll just make a few posters and a few T-shirts, and that should take care of it.
So sorry to interrupt, but before we go to Shane, what's one of the core principles that you teach in terms of how to get people to behave a certain way?
So the three things we kind of emphasize, but the first thing I'm going to talk about is to do what the private sector does. And what the private sector is extremely good at doing is market research. But a lot of my colleagues in the UN system don't like that term. So I say, do what the private sector, which is to go and listen to people and hear what people have to say either about your product or your behavior that you're recommending. Because when you listen to people, you realize you may have a foolish behavior you're recommending. And the question now is to figure out how to connect to them. And connect to them with regard to something they want in their life, something they need, something they desire.
You have to find out what people want.
Exactly. And that's what the private sector is wonderful. I know you're doing a show, a part of this morning show was about alcohol. And I look at how, what's the name of the beer? Bellinkin?
Bellikin.
Yeah, Bellikin. They are masters at selling Bellikin.
They are.
They know how to get you drunk.
Yeah, we always have them.
They know how to get you drunk.
So one of it's not a trick, it's a technique that we're trying to use in this combi thing, is to use some of the techniques. You can't use all the techniques from the private sector, but use some of those techniques to get people to put less sugar in their coffee. Wash their hands with soap and water after using the toilet. So we do use some marketing techniques. So it's not just getting you to know the name of the product, know the logo, it's motivating you to take action on that.
Mr. Shane, how did this course appeal to you? You're a pastor, you also work at a school as well. Why was this intriguing or something that you wanted to be a part of?
Right, good question. So I was offered the opportunity to be a part of the course, and actually a few days before I was offered the opportunity. So I was reading over the document and I'm like, I'm not sure. And then I read it again and I started to see these principles that they're going to cover, which is timely for kind of a new era that I'm going. Last couple months I've been working on getting a foundation for the blind off the ground.
Okay.
And I'm like, these are the keys that I'm going to need to help that function and possibly flourish. And so that's kind of how I got into it, and that's what really intrigued me. And what challenged me the most about it is I'm not just going to give information, I'm going to learn how to move people to be a part of the change.
So what perhaps over, I know it's only been like 3 days, what has impacted you so far?
Doc is full of wisdom, but experience. Every single theory he brings, he has a lot of good life experiences with it. And so like my first time, I'm like, why is this guy having me engage all of them was like, I'm like soaking in, right? And it's because he's not just giving us theory, he's giving us some tangible life experience that adds that little oomph to it, right? But I think the biggest thing for me so far is one concept of he calls it get D in the field. Get D in the field. Move from, like, you're not going to affect change from your office.
Sounds very biblical. Get thee in the field.
So I guess that's kind of what really.
He appealed to an era he knew you would understand.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, and so he explained is like, you know, you're only going to affect so much change from your office. You got to get out of your office and meet people where they are, right? He uses DILO, which is a day in the life of the people. Right, Milo, a moment in the life of the people. How do you get in the shoes of people and empathize with them, but then also empower them to move into the goal that you want? So that has been very impactful and challenging.
That's so good.
I hate to say this, Doc, but I feel a little bit disappointed. I wish I knew that this course was taking place earlier so I could get involved as well. And as you mentioned, it started on Monday. It's only for a few days. Is it too late for people to apply? Will this be available after?
The thing is, there's a certain flow to introducing the ideas.
Right.
And one of my goals is to totally confuse people like the first 4 days.
Okay.
And then hopefully things begin to fall into place.
I like that.
And by the way, I paid him very well to say all the things that he just said. But I'm hoping to come back again. Pao has been very interested in not introducing, because we've done combi courses before here in Belize. In fact, your CEO, Marlene, took one of the first courses on Combi, and this is probably, we'll be talking about how old she is, but so let me be modest, maybe 10 years ago, but I have a feeling it's older than that. And she was fascinated with the approach. How do you use communication to get people to behave? So I'm hoping that we will be able to continue this training for other groups of people. There are many people in the Ministry of Health who could benefit from it, not just the communication people, but senior management. But there are other ministries that could also benefit. So one of the things I do is work with the UNICEF on things like early childhood development, getting parents, I was going to say just mothers, but no, fathers need to be involved, getting them to read to their children. So that's a totally different kind of behavior compared to health. But one of the things we found out with early childhood development, the first 2 years of a child's life is the most critical period in the child's life. That's where the brain is, developing in enormous ways. But very few people get advice on what to do during those 2 years. So unless you send your child for, pre-kindergarten education, or read about it online or something, you don't read about things like, from the moment you come home with your baby, read to your baby. And you may argue, well, the child isn't going to understand anything. The baby is not going to understand anything. But that's an error, because the vibration of your body, the voice, they're just holding the baby, stimulates the brain in an amazing way. So when we tell people, that's one of the things I work on overseas, when I tell people, read to your child from the moment you come home, they kind of laugh and say, that's foolishness. But the research is quite amazing. So I'm hoping we will do other kind of combi training for other behaviors in addition to health. So one of the things I'm working on in a few other places like Morocco is and Trinidad and Tobago, which is where I'm from, is violence against women. And I'm beginning to feel it's very challenging to use communication to get a man not to hit his wife. And so I'm saying what we probably need now is, in addition to good communication, we need the law and the enforcement of laws about violence against women. But I'm hoping, I'd love to have you in the training, because then you could talk about broadcasting.
Absolutely.
And
Is
so
this a
forth.
program that is also available online?
No, we haven't done. Pastor Shane might be able to respond to this. I don't think I can do what I do in a live situation. I could do that online. If I've tried it online, and I see these small pictures of people, and I say, I'm not interacting with them. And so I tell people I don't want to do online training. I want to smell the people in the room. And I'll give them perfume if they need that. But I want to have you physically there and to interact with you. We do have an annual course in New York, which is open for international participants. Usually a lot of them come from the UN system, but there are people in international NGOs and working locally who want to learn more about how do you, I hate to use this phrase, manipulate people into behavior. But I say the private sector does that to us all the time. So one of my jokes in the training is, look at how Johnny Walker Black, I'm back again to alcohol, how Johnny Walker Black whiskey, how they promote themselves. But my best example is always the beer companies, and the other example is mobile phone companies. How do they get us to take action?
That's good.
So come to New York.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
absolutely. Me and Paul, we're going to catch the first flight to the course.
And the course is usually in June, so it's fairly
fantastic. All right, well, gentlemen, this has been a wonderful conversation. We're excited about the people who have been able to get the opportunity to enroll. And Shane, I'm looking forward to sitting down with you when you have that foundation completely ready and able to share with the world. And
I want to launch it next year, actually. So
beautiful.
I'm working hard to get it up by 2027. So
excellent. All righty. Well, thank you very much, and we wish you guys all the best.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for having
All right,
us.
we
Take
are
care.
going to take another quick break, and when we come back, our next conversation is the Women's Commission leading a campaign and solidarity march for sexual assault survivors.
phone, her laptop, her whole life in this apartment. If anything happens, it's more than just a loss. It's everything. RF&G Renters Insurance helps protect what matters most, even when you don't own the place.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Running a business means every dollar counts.
As a business owner, you face different challenges every day. You need cash flow on hand as soon as you can.
With Belize Bank's same-day settlement, transactions settled by 4 p.m. are credited the very same night.
The same-day settlement will definitely make a difference for my business because I know I have money in the bank so I can pay my suppliers, my staff, etc.
Faster access to your funds, better cash flow, greater control. And with auto settlement, it's done for you every day. Same-day settlement from Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
So it started off like any other summer day in Belize. I decided to go down to Builders Hardware since I heard they had 25% off on summer outdoor products. I got a couple of items, a chair, a grill, a cooler, and I got carried away, but the prices were so good. But anyways, I might have gotten comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Then I saw the news, man, the hurricane season was not playing with me. But thank God Builders also had 25% off hurricane preparedness items as well. Flashlights, batteries, sealant, first aid kits, everything I need. And guess what? My grill survived.
Are you enjoying the incredible voices of KTV The Remix Season 8? Well, don't forget, the power is in your hands. This week, each remaining contestant has been assigned a new voting number. To vote for your favorite KTV contestant, simply text the number of votes, followed by a space, then your contestant's assigned voting number, and send it to 585. And remember, you can also send credit directly to your favorite contestant's assigned smartphone number. Here are this week's remaining contestants and their new voting numbers.
Que más quisiera te viera, vuelvo siempre, vuelvo realidad. Me gustas tanto,
verdad. Tomamos unas copas y en el bar se echó a llorar.
Muero por besarte, dormirme en tu boca. Me muero por decirte que el mundo se equivoca.
como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú, se marchito.
Aquí solo importa nuestro amor. Te quiero, ay, muy prohibido, dan por las calles.
Who will make it through to next week? Your vote can keep your KTV star on the stage. Vote before Sunday at midnight. Join us at The Bliss every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for KTV The Remix, Season 8.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is our third conversation for this morning. And you want to stay locked into this one, especially if you want to take a stand against sexual assault and to take a stand with sexual assault survivors. We have joining us on set Executive Director at of the National Women's Commission, Ms. Eleanor Maria, and Program Officer also at the NWC, Ms. Stacy Castillo.
Good
Gladden.
morning,
Good
ladies.
morning.
Welcome back.
Thank
It's good to have you both here.
So we understand that you all are hosting an event tomorrow, a march, a rally in support of sexual assault survivors. Let's talk a bit about the actual event, then we could discuss what got us to this point.
Okay, great. So Ms. Stacy, talk about tomorrow's event.
Yes, so tomorrow we will be having a solidarity march. It will start at 10 a.m. downtown, right in front of City Hall. We go onto Albert Street, Regent Street, and then back at Battlefield Park, right? And so we'll be having, it is for youths and adolescents. So we'll be having our young people. We have the police cadets who will be joining us. We have the Coast Guard cadets. We have members from the DYS, Department of Youth Service, who will be there as well. And we'll be just showing our posters about what we're saying to perpetrators to stop sexual violence against children.
Okay, so is there any sort of features to this walk or this march that you'd want participants to be aware of? The colors to wear, the time, and how long will you all be marching, etc.?
It's just a simple short march.
It's a short march.
Just to show that, hey, we do not allow or we do not tolerate sexual violence against children. The colors to wear is blue. So we're inviting parents, youth leaders, anybody to come out and share your solidarity and support us. Support those victims who were once, who have been affected by sexual violence in some way or some form.
Outside of the prevalence of this issue, Executive Director, what is it about what the data is showing this year that is prompting this sort of action?
As I mentioned earlier to you, in Q1 and Q2 of this year, we saw many reported cases, and which is a good thing. We want people to report, because when it comes to sexual violence, it's usually left hidden. We don't talk about things like that. There was one case, the only reason it came out was because the child was pregnant. So if that child was pregnant, that behavior would have continued, with the perpetrator. And so data shows that we still have high cases, especially in the Belize, the Cayo and Orange Walk district have the highest cases. Again, just like domestic violence, those are the bigger communities, of course. But for example, in Orange Walk, they have the percentages higher than everybody else. So, which means that we have to do more interventions in those districts that are higher. In Orange Walk, we know the drinking problem. You were just talking about drinking and so on. And then sadly, the age range of children being molested, abused is 7 to 15.
Yeah, I've seen younger. We've reported
we have
on younger.
Yes, we have younger, but the majority of the cases are 7 to 15. We have babies who are being raped, right? We have babies who have lost their lives. So we want these parents to also come out, stand in solidarity with us. To say enough is enough. Those who have lost their babies to abuse, sexual abuse and other forms of abuse. Those women who were once victims and are now survivors of sexual abuse. So the data is not looking pretty. We have a lot of work to do. We know there are certain areas where it's not reported and it's happening, because people have reached out to us and say, can we in this district, can our leader make decision as it relates to a child being raped by a man? And I said no. you need to report it, or else they will arrest all of you, right? Because they know, but because they're leaders, they feel like they can decide and be judge and everything. So it's terrible. It happens not only in Belize, across the globe, because this campaign, it was not our idea. It's Breeze of Hope from Bolivia who reached out to us. And each year they have this regional campaign on August 9th on sexual violence. The founder of Breeze of Hope, she herself is a survivor of child sexual violence. And she and her family navigated the system just as in Belize and did not receive adequate services. And that is how they began their organization. And now they're working in Central America and the Caribbean countries to really spread awareness and to assist us to spread awareness, shed light, educate, and so on. Because what we really want things to change and people stop normalizing violence, especially against our babies. It's so heinous, and we want it to stop. And so we need to call out these perpetrators and say enough is enough.
The act is bad in and of itself. When we think of even adult women coming forward and talking about being sexually assaulted or sexually abused.
Right.
But I think of babies, children, young adolescents, and the long-lasting impact that it would have on their development as well. What are some of those points that you could share with our viewers, ways that a young child or a baby or an adolescent might have to cope with that for the rest of their lives?
Correct. One of the things we have noticed, and we know that is needed, is more psychosocial support. Many parents themselves, they do not have the know-how, and because of that stigma and our cultural thing where we keep our business to ourselves, we don't want anybody to know, they have to ensure that the child gets continuous counseling, until the child reach that place where they accept, they understand, and then they begin to continue their own personal development. If we leave children, it happens and we just sweep it under the rug, they never get to speak to a counselor or a psychologist, then that mess up their whole development and how they believe and things they do. And sometimes violence begets violence. I was raped as a child, so I become a perpetrator, and that is what happened, because what we do not speak about as well is sexual violence against boys. So the data does have shown that boys are also victims.
Do we see a shift taking place, though, where people are deciding to talk more about it, and there's that there's the removal of that shield from, trying to protect the family from shame or protect these persons with a big reputation or status in certain communities? Do we see people becoming more open and able to talk about levels of abuse taking place?
Definitely, especially in the Belize district.
Yes.
I think the interventions we have done over the years in terms of the information, a lot of education, a lot of awareness, talking about the services that are available and what are their rights when they go into these institutions and should be treated, because the first thing people want is confidentiality, professionalism as well.
One of the heartbreaking things about abuse with children and minors in general, I think, is that oftentimes you don't hear the stories from them until they become adults. Because they don't feel safe enough to express that when they are minors. I think of several cases that we highlighted in the news in the past, a couple years ago, where women came out talking about being abused by leaders or a leader in a church.
I remember.
At that time, they were minors.
Correct.
And now, as adults, they feel empowered enough to speak about it. And I can imagine there are many other examples of that, where family members, close family friends, might have intimidated these victims to a point where, as a child or as a minor, they don't feel safe enough to express that. They almost feel like it's their fault.
Yes, and I was just going to say that.
Because it takes,
because many a times fear has been instilled in them, or they're told that, hey, this is your fault. So why would I share if my own family is telling me I am the issue? Why would a stranger believe me? And sometimes they have to battle with that issue for the rest of their lives. And listening and hearing awareness stories about different people and their experiences, that is when they realize, hey, this was wrong. And even in their adult years, that is when you see they're going through a lot, because they start to reflect on their childhood and they say, oh man, this is what I experienced and it was wrong. And all the while, I felt that I was the problem.
Especially if they don't get help for
Exactly.
it, right, throughout their life. So for tomorrow, children will participate in this rally as well.
Yes,
I
of
saw
course.
some pictures of children with some placards.
Yeah, we did
They
a
created
session.
those.
Yes,
Tell us about
created
that.
we
their
did a
own thing,
session with the
yes.
police cadet.
Okay.
And we had asked them, because we want, and today again we'll be doing another session with DYS, just with some of the youths. They will be creating those posters and they were asking them to go out and march proudly and boldly with these posters.
Beautiful.
So that adds to the impact, right? Because we're not only hearing from adults, in this case,
The
you're
voices
hearing
of the young
The voices of the young people who are
So much-
most vulnerable,
Yes.
especially at this time between their home. The summer months, many are left alone, not having guidance and so on. And even when you go back to school, how do we prepare them to ensure that they stay alert and walk with groups? Don't go to any isolated streets. Don't go where you see people who may want to hurt you.
Ms. Stacey, why is this more than just a march in terms of how does a march like this truly make an impact and create change?
Because again, we bring awareness, right? It's about educating our population, educating our people. Stop being silent. It's like I told the children within the session, if you see something, say something. Tell. Tell.
And who do you tell?
Well, we have our people, we have the police. You can always reach out to the ministry. You have FSCAD, Family Support and Gender Affairs. You have Human Service Department, you have the Community Rehabilitation Department,
teacher.
you have your teachers, you have your trusted parents. At school you have counselors. These are all mandated personnel who should report these incidents.
And making them aware of that empowers them, like you say. It's, I really appreciate
Exactly.
that.
So it's about continuing the conversation. It's something that we need to continue to have. Educate our people, educate our children. The more we speak about it, the more they're empowered.
Based on the engagement that you guys have had so far with these young people while creating the placards, what are they saying to you? Are they talking about what they have heard, what they feel about the topic?
Well, some of them say, well, one of the main question that one of the young ladies mentioned is what, Miss, if you talk to these girls, they won't listen to you. They won't listen to you. They still do what they want. So then again, I said, tell. Because at the end of the day, these perpetrators are adults, right? You guys are the younger generation. You are the young people. You guys need more guidance more than anything. These adult perpetrators should know better. So while you may feel that that person doesn't want the assistance, she probably doesn't know better. So the best thing that we can do is help her by telling, help him or her by telling about the situation, right? And we had with some of the boys, we spoke to some of the boys, and I just listening to them, you can understand that they are looking for older females. And that is something that is normalized within our society. We've heard about these young men wanted older women to take care of them, or, whatever the situation may be. And that is something that has been You're smiling. Tell me why.
No, because you're right. It's become normalized.
Normalized, and it's okay, for a 17 or a 15-year-old boy to have a 25-year-old female, and that female is minding them. In my mind, it's grooming. Taking care of them, buying them these fancy tennis, these name brand stuff, and this is what are happening to our youths, right? They are blinded by the little, things that they're getting.
That's a whole deeper conversation about the patriarchy.
Abuse becomes material, becomes normalized. So we certainly stand behind this event tomorrow, and we also want to encourage people to participate.
Wear your blue.
Remind us, you wear your blue. It starts at what time?
10 a.m. right in front of City Hall. It's a short march.
Right downtown.
Right downtown.
Okay.
Just come out and show your support with those persons who were once victims and now survivors.
Excellent.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the conversation, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you very much.
All right. We are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, it's all about beauty, advocacy, and conservation. When we come back, gearing up for the Miss Earth Belize pageant.
connected in the USA for as low as $10. With Smart Roaming Data Pass, staying connected is simple and affordable. Get the data you need starting at 1,000 megabytes to stay connected to larger plans that keep you online while you travel across the USA. So you can message, browse, video call, and navigate wherever you go. No SIM swap, no bill shock. Just simple, affordable pricing. Activate easily by dialing *100# using the Smart app or online. Smart Roaming Data Pass. Staying connected the smart way. Smart, bringing people together.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
When a child is asked to marry or live like an adult in an intimate relationship before turning 18, this is called child marriage or early union. Belize law states that no one under the age of 18 can get married. Even with the alleged consent of parents, it is illegal.
To learn more, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
When your baby feels comfortable, you feel confident. Because every little moment deserves protection you can trust. Kushkin's diapers are designed with ultra-absorbent layers that lock in leaks while staying soft, dry, and gentle on delicate skin. So your baby can play freely, and you can enjoy every smile without worry. Kushkin's diapers, comfort they feel, protection you trust. Kushkin's diapers and wipes are available countrywide at a supermarket near you.
Introducing BB Insurance, built for Belize. Your security, our priority.
Insurance fact. Did you know with Home Protector Insurance, home and property insurance does not only cover hurricane and fire? Your lifetime investment will also be protected from explosions, water damage, malicious damage, and more. So you can rest easy knowing your home is protected. Visit any Home Protector Insurance office near you to learn more.
The next station is not just a place, it's the vacation capital of the world. Mexican, Caribbean, the vacation capital.
We at Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy Inc. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Every business starts with a vision. And everyday Belizean entrepreneurs are turning that vision into reality.
Hi, I'm Rosalie, General Manager of Cards and Merchant Services at the Belize Bank. Today, I am proud to introduce our new solution designed specifically for Belize's small and medium-sized businesses.
Introducing the Belize Bank Advantage MasterCard SME Business Credit Card. Whether you're managing everyday expenses, purchasing inventory, or investing in growth, this card gives your business the flexibility to move forward with confidence. Applying is easy. Visit any Belize Bank branch and speak with one of our SME officers. We'll help you find a solution that best fits your business. Your business is building Belize's future. Let Belize Bank help power what's next.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Her phone, her laptop, her whole life in this apartment. If anything happens, it's more than just a loss. It's everything. RF&G Renters Insurance helps protect what matters most, even when you don't own the place.
Life moves fast. Your connection should keep up. Need more credit? More data? A flex bundle that fits your lifestyle? With Smart Prepaid, they're a prepaid option for every lifestyle and budget, making it easy to stay connected wherever you are. Because with Smart Prepaid, you can connect on your terms. Purchase credit, data, flex bundles, prepaid plans, and all your favorite prepaid services at any Smart agent, Smart showroom, or simply dial *100# key. No stress, no waiting. Just fast, easy, convenient ways to stay connected every day. Smart Prepaid. Connect on your terms.
Welcome back, guys. We are closing things off with our final conversation, but certainly not the least. We are joined by some wonderful, beautiful ladies, and then there's Dwayne Moody. And we're really excited to talk about the upcoming Miss Earth Belize pageant set to take place on the 8th of August, which is this weekend. And we have these beautiful delegates here with us as well. So I want to open things off by inviting and saying good morning to Dwayne Moody. He's the Creative Director and Chief Communications Officer for the Miss Earth Belize Foundation Limited. Also here with us us is the reigning Miss Earth Belize 2025, Paris Kowich. And then to my right, over this side, we have the wonderful ladies vying for the crown. We have here with us Miss Gwendolyn Galvez. Please raise your hand. Also, Miss Vashti Thompson, Miss Heavenly Bradley, and Miss Kendall Morgan. Wow, you guys have a tough competition ahead. Dwayne and Paris, how are you guys feeling going into the competition?
I can start. The excitements are building up. These girls have been in preparation for the past 2 months. Like how you said, it's a tough competition. Each one brings something special to the stage, and we can't wait for them to introduce themselves so that you get to know a little bit more about them and why they chose the Miss Earth Belize pageant.
Yeah, and I'll definitely ask them that. But I think one of the things that is worthy of mentioning is just what you mentioned, Paris. You said that they've been promoting themselves essentially for the past 2 months. I definitely saw some of the clips online. You guys have done a fantastic job with keeping the word out there. And I think a big part of that is because of the purpose behind the organization itself. Miss Earth is not just about beauty and a fancy walk. It's about sustainability, conservation, and care for our planet, the Earth. And so there's a much bigger purpose behind it. And you hear that from the different advocacies that the delegates have. Dwayne, before I send things over to them, what has the promotion of that been like?
You know, it's so interesting that you say that, Sabrina, because it's exactly that. Miss Earth Belize and the Miss Earth franchise is what is most aligned with what Belize has to offer. We've kept on saying it, or we've heard it, that Belize has all this unkept secret. Belize has done so much work in terms of the advocating for the environment and the preservation, its conservation. We have so many conservation groups that have been working in the country. I have to make note of the fact that Belize is one of 2 countries outside of Seychelles that did that debt for nature swap. This puts Belize in a really great position to get that acknowledgement internationally and really aligns with what Miss Earth stands for. 62% of the country is under protection. These are things that are keen to the work that Belize has been doing. We've won this title internationally back in 2021 with Destiny Wagner. Why is it that we can't win it again?
Absolutely.
We can, but we need to be very deliberate and intentional with what we're going to do. We need to be partnering with these environmental groups, the Department of the Environment, Oceana, the Nature Conservancy, PACT, the Ministry of Tourism, you know, BTB, all of these organizations who work within ecoculture, within ecotourism. This is what we need to do because we're showcasing Belize and the wonders that it has. And shouldn't we celebrate that?
Yeah,
and I think these delegates are the ones that will help to celebrate that. You know,
and speaking of the delegates, I want to head over to them for them to get some of the spotlight. So, ladies, I'd like for you all to introduce yourselves one at a time and just tell us a bit about who you are and a bit about your participation in this pageant.
Let's start with you, Kendall, and then we can pass the mic down, or you guys can all individually speak.
Yes. So
Good morning, Belize and beyond. My name is Kendall Morgan. I am a 22-year-old national athlete. I represent the Belize River Valley. I'm hailing from the beautiful village of Boroboom. My advocacy is paddling for preservation, protecting the Belize River, preserving our heritage. Through my advocacy, I get to give people the knowledge of what is actually happening with our rivers and to bring them together so that we can use paddling as a sport to raise awareness and to put a stop to pollution in the Belize River.
Yes. Yeah, it's on.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Gwendolyn Galvez. I'm 26 years old and I'm a national tour guide. My advocacy is ecoculture. Ecoculture is all about reconnecting people with their natural heritage. And in this critical moment in the world, we have to remember what's really important. In Belize, we have so much wealth, we have so much beauty, and we have to be able to appreciate it and protect it. And so we have to live with love. And that's my slogan, living love and guiding the future. Thank you.
Vashti Thompson.
Good morning. My name is Vasha Thompson. I am 25 years old and I work as the community officer at the National Biodiversity Office. So my job is going out every day and connecting with communities and helping them understand the importance of the forest and our rivers. What is so full circle about this is that I picked my advocacy, which is community-driven biodiversity conservation and youth environmental education, before applying for this job. So it's so full circle, so connected, and I really think that it showcases my passion and what I really care about.
And Heavenly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Heavenly Bradley. I believe that not because something is devalued doesn't mean it doesn't have value. I grew up in a family where Carnival was so embedded that it's part of my history and my legacy, and I like to think of myself as a part of my mom and my aunt's legacy, and watching them turn nothing or something that's trash or waste into something new and bringing cultural preservation and a sense of identity to people. I want to be able to pass that down to the younger generation so that they have a better understanding of sustainability, conservation, and of course cultural preservation.
Wow. I mean, one thing I could tell you is you ladies all have your own unique takes and you know, attachments somehow to sustainability and conservation. And I think that's so interesting. I love that. You guys did well with choosing these girls. No, make sure now had the only prerequisites true.
We had to. Listen, I think one of the things that we need to note is that this is the first time ever that Belize is having a pageant for Miss Earth Belize.
Okay.
In the past, it had always been that they just select a girl, that girl pays the franchise fee, and whatever preparation she does that and goes and represent the country. We at the Miss Earth Belize Foundation Limited were deliberate when we took over the franchise. Well, we have it for a few years.
Yeah.
We needed to make sure that we're increasing the standard, we're elevating the experience, the caliber of the delegates that we're sending. You have to actually be a champion, a steward of the earth.
Yeah.
So I want to bring in Miss Paris once again. What would be your primary advice to these young ladies as the reigning Miss Earth?
So my advice to the young ladies, and I have mentioned it to them before, is be true to who you are and to what you stand for. Because again, this is a very environmental driven pageant, and each of these ladies have that. Us as Belizeans, we're very environmentally conscious, and to be able to fill these roles and be representing Belize in these pageants, it means that we are the voices of our country in an international stage. And I would say just continue to do the great work that you ladies have been doing, and may the winner be able to represent Belize to the best of their ability.
What did you enjoy the most about your reign?
Honestly, I think connecting with people. I also enjoyed a lot of the activities that were held in the Philippines. The Miss Earth pageant has a lot of competitions. I was fortunate enough to win 2 medals.
Okay.
I brought home 2 medals to Belize, which were Darling of the Press and the Green Leaders in Action.
Wow.
Yes, so we got a good representation out there, and we got rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And so now we need the other young ladies to be able to continue that legacy that Miss Earth Belize is leaving in the international pageant.
And even build on that,
Yes.
right? So more medals.
And the crown.
Oh, well, yeah, so I was going to add to it. You know, make a minute. And
I also want to quickly mention, I understand that we also have a new director as well. That's exciting to announce. Former Miss Universe Belize, Halima Hoy, was announced as the director of the Miss Earth Belize franchise as well here. So congratulations to you guys. I can imagine she brings a wealth of knowledge with just these international pageants as well, and what it takes to train for something like this.
Yeah, you know, you're right, Halima. You see, I think a lot of times what we have all this information, we have all this talent that we don't tap into, or we tend to try to isolate it. Instead, we need to bring them all together. And so that was, we were deliberate there too, in making sure that, you know what, we are taking in the talents that are out there. Halima is trained for international stage, and so why not be able to have her share that expertise with these delegates or with the winner as they move forward.
Give us the details of this weekend's event, right? Just so we don't run out of time and we don't know exactly where, when, and how to get tickets.
So where, when? So of course it's Saturday at doors open at 6 o'clock at the Belize Civic Center. Doors open at 6 o'clock. There will be a red carpet live that concludes at 7 o'clock. The pageant starts. We're aligning the pageant with the international one. So this is the only international pageant that actually, well, it isn't actually Miss World too, but this is one of the pageants that have talent as a segment. So we've introduced talent to this international pageant, to this local pageant, right? So we're doing talent. There's an opening statement that these ladies will have to make, sharing with viewers exactly why they should be the next Miss Earth Belize and represent the country internationally. They will compete in swimsuit, evening gown, and then of course that final question and answer. Tickets are $10 for general admission.
Wow.
$100 for the VIP experience. And then of course we had to continue with that ultra VIP tables. That's $1,000, but that includes charcuterie and wines, and that seats 5 persons. And of course, Madisco has partnered with us for that. I just want to plug in before we go to the sponsors that, guys, one of the things that we love about this franchise and this experience right now is that we've been exposing the girls to all these environmental organizations and working with them. Yesterday we did a cleanup campaign in Belize City, and we took to Colette, East Colette Canal, along with DOE, Oceana, Fisheries Department, Audubon, and we walked that stretch of road from the Fish Bridge to Alenby Street past the terminal, and we picked up the garbage that was there, and we used an app that has been developed by DOE to literally track what type of garbage is out there. And then
it's good to familiarize themselves with that information.
Exactly. And then on Friday, we go to Belmopan Market. Remember, Belize did this ban on single-use plastics, right? And it's not really about enforcement, but people are still buying plastics. So we're doing reusable handbags and taking it to the market and issuing them to people.
Free of cost.
It's free of cost.
Wow.
All these environmental organizations have just said, man, come make a give these bags.
All right.
So we're going to go to the sponsors.
Yes, let's go to sponsors, Paris.
You're going to list out the sponsors,
Yes, so all these sponsors have been picked because they align with what the Miss Earth Belize Foundation wants to bring out. So the sponsors are the Ministry of Natural Resources, the National Channel and Next Gen, Madisco, the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing, KD Productions Audio and Visual Services, Belize Water Services Limited, Ramada by Wyndham Princess Belize City, Digi Wallet, Holy Redeemer Credit Union, Niche, Pink Boutique, Norman's Printing House, The Banks, Sleeping Giant Rainforest Lodge, The Lodge at Chalk Creek, Island Magic Villas, Pelican Beach Resort, Love FM, Belize Pro Lab, Onyx Beauty Lounge, Studio Pereira, Celebrity Restaurant, Eye Care Solutions, Public Utilities Commission, Innovative Science, PAC, Quip Stop Finance Center, Department of the Environment, the Office of the Prime Minister, Top Gadgets, Susie's Hilltop Estate, Nana's Cafe and Bistro, The Nature Conservancy, Key Cocker Village Council, Bliss Beach, Senses Belize, CNN Golf Cart Rentals, Winesmith Belize, Reading Rights, Mystic Lounge Belmopan, Smith's Property Consulting Services, Social Lounge, Mars Distributors and Rentals, GSCOM, and Belize Western Biltmore.
Dwayne Moody, you look so shocked. Like you have no idea it's so much.
I never realized them so much.
But I have to say this. I mean, with all those sponsors, I imagine the winner will be walking away with a fabulous prize.
It's also in kind.
I
think
course.
a lot of it
100%.
it's about the partnerships that we've been able to forge and making sure that all the delegate is as best prepared
as possible.
Yeah, so no,
I don't
mean that we still rich.
Yesterday we had a lead launch and we had a symbolic handing over of these big checks and all of that. But
We get it.
We report. But the thing is that the support is always good. And I think the fact that we have all these environmental groups saying, you know what, this is different. We need to come on board with this. And so the girl becomes an ambassador for these organizations. Because it's all about how we're making that link. Because they have their networks that they connect to. And so it was interesting. And just this thing before we go, right? Pat said yesterday during the launch, we've done all we can to reach to people so that they know the work that PACT has been doing, the great work. And they realize that when they're out doing field work, some people still don't know who PACT is as an organization. And so these girls, they're the delegate, they are the window or the medium to get to their generation. And so they need to look at different ways, traditional and the non-conventional ways of how you can communicate.
And so that partnership does that. It brings the brand into a modern and a relevant space.
It does. We're intentional.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, guys, congratulations. And ladies, good luck. I can't imagine the nerves that you're all feeling, but I hope that you have enjoyed this experience and that, it continues even beyond this pageant as well.
Monday, I get to talk to one, guys.
All right, good. We'll take it.
Monday, I get to talk to the winner.
We do have to wrap things up, though.
Yeah.
And it has been a wonderful Thursday morning. Thank you so much to all of our guests who joined us and you guys for locking in. It is August 6th. And if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oie@greaterbelize.com.
You can also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BC or Instagram for all the behind the scene content. That's OIE Belize. We even have TikTok. You could follow us on TikTok, folks. That's openyoureyes.bz.
And then you can call us or text us on our OIE phone number. That's 675-2555. But please do us a favor and join us again tomorrow for what? The Friday, when you open your eyes
and start your morning right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts wide open.
Have a wonderful Thursday. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.